Chelsea fans, this is not what we wanted to hear. Jamie Gittens hamstring tear, and it's been described as long-term. With all the things that we're going through, manager changes, the games we've lost, the points we've thrown away, now injuries gets in the way. I'm going to break down what this actually means for Chelsea, how long he could realistically be out for, and why this injury could completely change our attacking plans for the rest of the season. But first, let's talk about how this is actually going to affect us. First, I want to talk about how long he could be out for, who could replace him, and what this means for the rest of the season. And look, Gittens weren't necessarily so important to the squad. He wasn't someone that was performing to the highest of highest levels, someone that if we lose him, we'll lose the league or like anything crazy, right? I just feel like he was probably after Esteval, Palmer. I think he was probably our best winger, innit? You know what I'm saying? From even the glimpses we've seen, he's probably one of our most attacking wingers. Now, I've always wanted to see more from him. I think he was someone that if he was given the opportunity, which he hasn't at Chelsea, he could have been someone that, you know, would have put himself in the squad. So you would potentially say should be someone that's a start at left wing, or if not, he would be on the bench. So like he's borderline, right? I'll also explain why he was important, like where his importance lays in like tactically, and why this hurts now in terms of the season with fixtures and also momentum, right? Now in the meantime, welcome to the channel. I'm Yasser. Welcome to Yasser TV. Like I said, make sure you like in the video, subscribe to the channel, hype the video as well, if you can, and also leave a comment below. Yeah, help us get to 2K, and let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it now. Obviously, Jamie Gittens is someone who, you know, we bought for £55 million. He has he hasn't done nowhere near to what we expected or what we thought he could bring to the team. Especially spending that kind of money on a player, you expect a bit more from him. So he's someone who hasn't reached expectations, if we want to say like. And then the person who's come after him, I'm not gonna say his name, you know what I mean? 4.9, 0.49. It's so bad that when you do look at Gittens to get you out of problems, he's then someone who, when he's not performing, you look and say, what's going on with our left wing position? Now, I've also been in the camp of someone where I said, look, he looks like a confidence player. You should be giving him a bit more minutes. He looks like a kind of player that needs the run of games. And because remember, he played the Charlton game on this manager, Liam Rosenior. Again, played really well. Played on the right-hand side. He's also played in off the bench. He had a game off the bench. I forgot what game it was, but it was a game he came off the bench. Played well as well. And I feel like he was starting to just have like a good, not necessarily run of games, but every time he was showing up, he was looking good. And I feel like we wanted to see him start. We wanted to see him get some more consistent game time. Not just him because of him, but also because we wanted to see more of that player, right? And finally see whether he can get those minutes and actually string those performances together, give us some consistency, and maybe show us that he's actually the player that we need on the left-hand side. So, going to his injury specifically, right? Going to his injury specifically, he played the West Ham game, went down, I think 20 minutes in, And today we kind of got the news that he has a hamstring injury. Liam Rosenior came out and said that he had a hamstring injury. Uh, he came out saying Jamie is more long term. He's got a tear in his hamstring, which is a real shame for him. But they haven't specified what type of hamstring tear it is. And they've also not specified specifically what the period. He's just essentially said it's going to be long term. And it's something that I don't necessarily feel like, it doesn't necessarily give us clarity, right? So hamstring tear recovery varies by severity. Grade 1 is mild, technically between 1 and 3 weeks. Grade 2 is a partial tear, so it's not fully torn, 4 to 8 weeks. And grade 3 is usually the severe hamstring tears. That's 3+ months. Sometimes, and a lot of the times, they do need surgery. And for football players, long term often means 4 to 12 weeks. Exact timeline for Gittens isn't specified yet. Depends on scans, rehab, etc., etc. Now, this is where it kind of gets. This is why it's a little bit of a problem, right? Because a lot of people are like, okay, cool. What? Anyone that remembers Saka last season also had a hamstring tear, and I think his one was grade 3, which essentially is, dangerous for wingers that have that burst of pace, right? Wingers that rely on that burst of pace, because you lose a lot of, muscle because you're not training, and it's something that can limit you, right? And players that rely on speed, and not necessarily just speed in terms of the like a long distance speed, more like burst of speed, just to get out of a position, to beat that player just with that little small yards of pace. And I think that's where, that's where, as a fan, the fear comes from. Is this player going to return the same as he was before? And this is assuming worst case scenario, in terms of if this ended up being a grade 3 hamstring. I'm looking at it. I'm just giving an example. If that's grade 3, how is he going to come back from it? Obviously, if he is out longer than we expect, and he recovers properly, has the rehab, has the surgery, and all that kind of stuff, could he be a player that kind of like, comes back and is quite good? Or could it be something that affects him and then becomes a thing where, he's out and comes back in, out and comes back in? Hamstring injuries are something that you can't always just get rid of, right? If you rush yourself back, if you're not 100%, sometimes you see players that also bulk up after they have these because they were so, working so hard in the gym. They come back and then all of a sudden they're heavier than they were before, whether it's muscle mass or whatever it is, and it still affects them. So these are things that they have to look out for. I'm not sure. I think this could be, if you ask me and ask me what I think it's probably between a grade 1 and 2. I don't necessarily think it's a 3. It could be a 3. And the only reason I'm saying that is because he walked and it didn't look like he was really in massive pain. It didn't look like, because Liam Delap had one, and I'm pretty sure he had grade 1 or 2 as well. So, and he was back within a couple of, I think, a month maybe, so 6 weeks, I think it was. So I hope it's the shortest one, you know what I mean? Because the grade 3, and with the big scar, the back of your leg, you have surgery, and then it's about making sure you come back at the perfect time. Now, let's talk about the impact at Chelsea, right? We've spoken about the injury, we've spoken about what could and can't happen in terms of him specifically. Now, actually, let's speak about the impact it has on Chelsea. Now, if we say who replaces him, right, or who's going to be in his position, or who's going to be covering for him, and all that kind of stuff, right? It's something that as much money as we have spent, this is something that I keep looking at and I just can't get my head around it. Now, the only left winger that we have that plays left wing is Garnacho. Right? I'm gonna say his name for the people that for the people that don't know that I do this. I don't usually say his name. He's essentially a player I never wanted at club, but that's a story for another day. Watch the other content. Watch the, you know what I mean? Go up here. Watch the. I'll pin it to the top if you want. Watch the Here We Go when Garnacho came to Chelsea, and you'll get an idea, right? Um, he's been someone that essentially has had looked like he's not even a professional football player. That's how bad he's been for us. He's been very, 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 very bad. So I've been someone who's been saying that I wanted to see Gittens play. You know, if he's a confidence player, just give him more minutes, whatever, whatever. Now, going back to who's going to replace him, we've seen Esteban play there on the left, on the Maresca. We've seen Pedro Neto can do a job on the left-hand side. We've also seen that, and obviously 4.9 can play on the left. So those are the options that we have that can play there. I know Mujica, whatever his name is, he can play there. Obviously the craziest one is that we let Tyreek George go to Everton on loan with an option to buy. So he's someone that could have contributed and been in the squad. However, we've let him go. Now, I'm not here saying that they done it on purpose. For me, it's just a thing where I'm saying that it's been unfortunate that the injury happened the day after Tyreek George was gone. But you know, these things happen and we gotta deal with them. So yes, those are the options. Maybe maybe they bring someone up from the academy. But in this moment in time, Pedro Neto, I think our winger pairing in terms of left right are both going to probably be Esteval, Palmer in the 10, Garnacho on the left, maybe Neto on the left, Palmer on the right, Esteval in the 10. Like it's gonna have to have Neto and Garnacho in that lineup now, and it's a thing where we're gonna run them into the ground. And this is what happened when your squad building isn't necessarily up to the right level, not just in quantity but quality, right? Because our issue's been that if this guy starts, the other guy, you look at the other guy to save you, and he's not really in the right state of mind in terms of, you know, as a footballer, he's not really there yet. His confidence, whether it's ability, whether it's this, like, we have a lot of issues in the attacking area in terms of that left hand side. On the right hand side, you can see you have Neto, but then a lot of us look at Palmer and Esteban on that side, or at least in the 10. And a lot of us don't really want to see Neto as much on the right anymore. Can he play a role on the left where he can just go down and cross the ball? Those are the things that we think about. And then if you go into this is also where the board gets questioned, in my opinion. I think, yes, this is an injury and this is something the owners can't do nothing about on the pitch, but this is where you strengthen. This is where you, not necessarily in this period, but look at the January period. We didn't get anyone. We didn't get anyone that can help this team. When you realize, and I've said this many times, that a January transfer window is like a cheat code. You can fix something that you may have not been able to do or haven't done, or that you've overlooked in the summer transfer window. You can do that now in the January transfer window. Now, I don't say spend 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, but like a City who ended up having 2 injuries in their back line with Diaz and Vardio, went and got a Gahey. You know? And I'm not saying that you just go splash money, but you know, okay, someone, those maybe they should have bought Gay in the summer, but because they didn't, they said, you know what, we might as well get him now, because then we don't have to get a centre back in the summer, and he can help us now. So there's different aspects or layers to it. I just feel like, look, we need to, the board needs to be questioned heavily. Their scouting, you know, the players that they get in, the amount of money they're spending on the players. Like, if you put the amount of money we're spending on the players and then the amount of impact they have positively to our season, it's like this. It's literally just one-sided. So yeah, we definitely have to question the board for me. And with all, and I have to be honest, with all this whole, overlooking the manager, the medical team stuff that we heard about, and all these kind of things in the background, managing minutes, this player can only play 60 minutes. And I'll give you another example. Palmer didn't play. Palmer played like 30 minutes or something in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg at Arsenal. But apparently he's ready to play 90 minutes against Wolves. Why wouldn't he not play 90 minutes against Arsenal? And then he can play 40 minutes against Wolves or 30 minutes against Wolves. Reece James came on the 80th minute, if I'm not mistaken, against West Ham, but was rested for Arsenal. But he's probably ready to play Wolves. So with all this managing that we're doing, we're not really going anywhere. And I think that's the frustration as a Chelsea fan. That I'm, you know, it's just that's the frustrations I'm having with as a Chelsea fan. I feel like, are you making the right decisions? Are you saying you're making the right decisions? Are you sure? And I mean, those are the question marks that I have over with the board, the manager. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I said, yeah, I don't know, is it bad luck? I mean, is it bad luck? Is it conditioning? Is it the training methods? I mean, look, our injuries when Maresca was here started to decrease. He said that Laka Palmer could play 90 minutes a while ago, but all of a sudden he still can't play 90 minutes. And yeah, look, like I said, I don't necessarily think that Gittens is someone that makes or breaks our season, but he's still a different option. And maybe, and it's not a copium thing. Maybe he could be someone that can actually, you know, click into gear and be someone that can actually affect our season, especially in that running, maybe Champions League run, to help us positively. Some players just activate in certain times of the season. Like let's look at a Verts who, yes, he was highly rated, obviously, but he didn't come in and just started working straight away. It took him a while to play the way he's playing now. So every player is different. Maybe this could have been his time. Look, hopefully he gets well soon. I don't necessarily think it's season changing, so there's no point of me saying is it season changing. But listen, on a funny note, or if you're gonna make a light of a bad situation, smash the like if you're tired of injuries. I mean, smash the like, just smash the like button, bro. Hype the video. And yeah, listen. Hopefully it doesn't affect our season. I mean, our running's gonna be bad. Again this season we have a very, very difficult run in. Do you trust the winger pairing that we have now, Garnetto, like some people call them? Do you trust them to help us get top four? Will Palmer help us get top four? Will we get top four? There's so many question marks about Chelsea now. So, like I said, make sure you leave things in the comment section for me, and I'll read everyone's comments anyway. So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think look, like I said, Gittens' injury is not season derailing, but what do you think about the injury, and how do you think it affects our season? Does it affect it negatively? How badly? Just let me know in the comments below. I appreciate everyone that's watched the video up to now. Make sure you're liking the video. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and hype the video as well. Make sure you're hyping the video, man. Hype the video. You know what I'm saying? But listen, thank you, like I said, for watching. And yeah, I'm out.